Iran's armed forces have started the third round of joint military drills with the Iraqi army along the two countries' borders. The troops have conducted military exercises along Iran's western borders, especially the strategic Parvizgan area. During Monday's drills, Iran's ground forces used heavy armored vehicles and rockets. The maneuvers also tested Iran's army capabilities in aerial operations. There will be another joint drill on Wednesday. Marcus Papadopoulos, publisher and editor at Politics First, joins us from London. What kind of message do you think these armed drills send in terms of the countries involved?
Well, I've long been sympathetic to the Kurds, long been sympathetic to the concept of an independent homeland for the Kurds, like I support and am sympathetic towards the Palestinians. But I think Iran has every reason to be concerned about Iraqi Kurdistan potentially becoming an independent state, because sadly the Americans view the Kurds as a way of strengthening their stranglehold on the Middle East. And my fear is that an independent Kurdish homeland based on Iraqi Kurdistan would effectively, in practice, be an American colony. We have to remember that the Americans have failed in Syria. Their objective to overthrow President Assad and the Syrian government has failed. So I think the Americans are reverting to Plan B now, and I think Plan B heavily involves the use of the Kurds. And I think the Americans regard the Kurds as Washington regards the Albanians in the Balkans, because the Americans use the Albanians in the Balkans to secure and to strengthen their grip on that region. And I do believe that once the conflict in Syria ends, the Americans will look more and more to the Kurds as a way of strengthening their hold on the Middle East and also threatening Iran. The Americans are not genuinely concerned about the human rights of Kurds. If they were concerned about the Kurdish people, then they would demand for the Turkish government to agree to a referendum in Turkey for Turkey's Kurds. And also, let's not forget, the Americans provided chemical weapons to Saddam Hussein, which he used against the Kurds in Iraq, in Halabja, and at the time the American government refused to condemn him. So yes, Iran has every right to be concerned about Iraqi Kurdistan becoming independent, and it pains me to say that the Kurds are being used as mere pawns by Washington.
Thank you. Marcus Papadopoulos, publisher and editor at Politics First.